Hi, I'm Sophia, and today I'm going to be analyzing my neighborhood. I want to explore the essence of walkability in cities and what factors either enables and or prohibits it. I'll be answering questions like, is your neighborhood walkable? How to identify if a neighborhood is walkable, and ways to make your neighborhood more pedestrian friendly. So what is a walkable? What is walkability and what does it mean? Walkability refers to how friendly an area is for walking as a form of transportation. It takes into account things like safety, proximity, accessibility, etc. I'm from Columbia, Maryland, which is known for being well planned because of its proximity to various forms of infrastructure. Each side of where I live are restaurants, grocery stores, schools, etc. Though it lacks accessibility, I think my neighborhood is a good example of this because there's no sidewalks. I live pretty close to the school where I can walk if I wanted, but the school still offers us a bus. So junior year of high school, our bus was continuously late, sometimes ran two trips, which made me trying to get home a long process. So I started walking. Walking seemed like the best option at the time because I reached my house before the bus did, but it was a bit of a trek. Everything was fine until I got to a certain point. After the bridge and past the roundabout, there was the neighborhood right next to mine, and then after that, the sidewalk stopped. And you'd be walking along the main road with a bunch of cars going 50 miles per hour. Even once I did finally reach my neighborhood, it was the same experience, just cars going 25 versus 50. In fact, it might have been worse because at least the main road had the white line, so I had more room versus having to share the road. All throughout my all throughout my neighborhood and even reaching my house is not one sidewalk in sight. I often end up cutting through the previous neighborhood and walking through the woods for a couple of feet rather than take my chances along with the main road. So, what are some ways to make my neighborhood more walkable or at least pedestrian friendly? Jeff Speck, in his TED Talk, Four Ways to Make a City Walkable, identifies the walk as having to be safe, feel safe, be comfortable, and be interesting. He explains how factors like block size, narrow streets, and transportation are important features when discussing walkable cities. On the topic of safety, he discusses how things like curbs and parallel parking makes people feel safe by creating a barrier between the person and the road. Simple design elements like narrow streets or windy roads lower speeds, and the larger the block, the more accidents. So I decided to interview my mom to get her thoughts on the subject. I asked her, how often do you walk around the neighborhood? And she responded, twice a week. Did you feel safe walking? She said she felt safe in the environment and in the community, but is cautious while walking because of the cars. Is the walk interesting? She responded, yes. Would sidewalks better your walking experience? And she also responded, yes. America is very car centric in comparison to other countries. However, the city is not made up of machines, it's made up of people, so we have to prioritize them. Said by Curitiba's BRT. Therefore, we should start designing around the people versus the car to create more friendly areas. Well, simply adding a sidewalk isn't going to make everyone choose to walk instead of drive. Jeff Speck said it himself that you have to offer a walk as good as a drive, but it's a good first step. Catering more towards walking as a form of transportation would elevate Columbia's already well-planned community by ensuring various forms of access. Thanks for listening.